All right. If you would, place your hand on the Bible. If you would, swear after me. I do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully perform the duties of council member of this city, and that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia and of the United States of America. So help me God. Congratulations.
They just got married.
Place your hand on the Bible. I do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully perform the duties of council member of this city, and that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia and the United States of America. So help me God. Say I do.
I do. Or I will.
Both. Thank you.
Mayor?
If you would, I do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully perform the duties of mayor of this city, and that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as the Constitution and laws of the state of Georgia and of the United States. So help me God.
I will.
Okay.
We'll call the meeting to order at this time. Mr. Childs, if you would, please do the invocation. Ms. Stinnett, if you would, please lead us in the pledge.
Yes, sir. Let us pray. Your Heavenly Father, thank you for the many blessings that you give us. Thank you for your love. Thank you just for being with our citizens and us. As we start this new year, keep us focused on what we should do for you and our citizens and our country also. So be with us, guide us, and forgive us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda is reading of the minutes of the previous council meeting. If members of council have had an opportunity to review these, I will entertain a motion to approve minutes from the regularly scheduled meeting on December the 9th and a special called meeting on December the 19th.
Make a motion.
Have a motion to have a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda, communications from the mayor. First of all, Happy New Year. Look forward to 2020. And we're excited. We got the city going in the right direction, and hopefully we'll have a better year this year than we did last year. We also have Miss Shirley Smith with us tonight. Miss Smith, if you'd like to come up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and everyone else, ladies and gentlemen. I was supposed to be here a while back when you took the literacy contract, and thank you for allowing us to serve you again. And this is awesome. The room is just absolutely gorgeous, and it's a new year, a new face, and everything's wonderful, and literacy is coming right along in the same vein. I wanted to give you a little idea because I always want you to know what we're doing and what we're up to, and it's been a while since I've talked to you, and things are going the same. We had a little time in there when, you know how, I shouldn't say this, should I? But how the government is to change things. So they changed a few rules and regulations on us and caused a little hiccup. And they realized that, well, you know, good things are better sometimes. So we're back to doing some new things. And we have at the beginning where the students come in and we test the pre-testing. And this pre-testing has been the most amazing thing ever, because the students would come in and they'd be a little apprehensive about taking the test, so they were afraid to come into the GED class, so it kind of fell back a little. Well, now by taking the pretest, it is amazing. They realize they can do it. And of the we had 145 vouchers because the state sells, they pay for the we pay for the GED test. This is the pretest. But we had 145 vouchers used to take that pretest. 97 up till now have passed it with high scores. That means that when they go into the classroom, we know exactly where they need help. That's amazing because we can spend more time and less of their time because they know where to go, where to take that test. But those are coming on. We've had, since July, we've had 14 actual GED tests. Now, that doesn't sound a lot, but that's just since July. And considering we might have had 3 or 4 last year, we've already had 14 since July. So this testing is really working, and it's coming along great, and it's just amazing. Come over and visit us. It's vibrating again. You know that we tease the GNTC teachers. They're awesome. We tease them all the time about things. So I was in my office, and Miss Crawford was in hers, and we heard this scream. I'm telling you, scream. She said, "Darna!" And we think, oh no, somebody's fallen, something's happened. So we all, everybody from the other end where Phil Ledbetter is, comes out of their offices, runs down the hall to see what's it. He made his scores, he graduated! So that's kind of the atmosphere we have right now, and all the things that we're doing, and it's that way with everyone. And I just wanted to let you know that we're still working. This year, the CLCP, the Certified Literate Community Program, is coming up on 30. I don't know if it's this year or next year, but there's going to be some new things going on to kind of pump us up and give us a little bit of a zinger to keep going. So you may see me come back here and tell you about some of the awesome things that we're going to be doing. But the main thing that I'm up here for right now is to say thank you. Thank you for the contract. Thank you for believing. Thank you for caring about your constituents, your community, and just keep on. And one of the things I'm going to end with, and I've heard this new one, and I'm going to keep it for a while. Literacy is a bridge from misery to hope.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith.
Awesome.
Next thing we have is a proclamation tonight. Ms. Stenick.
Thank you, sir. From the Office of the Mayor, City of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, proclamation, Tree City, USA, Arbor Day. This is for 2019. Not to say that we're running just a tad bit behind. Whereas the first Arbor Day was celebrated in 1872 as a special day for planting trees and has grown to thousands of celebrations in communities across our nation and throughout the world each year. And whereas community partners, families, and friends will be joined together at a local Arbor Day ceremony each year to celebrate the City of Fort Oglethorpe becoming a Tree City, USA, and to recognize the benefits of trees in urban forests. And whereas trees improve public health, air and water quality, reduce the erosion of precious topsoil, increase property values and economic vitality in business areas, increase energy efficiency through shade, habitat for wildlife, and beauty to communities. And whereas trees promote human, physical, and mental health and well-being, create healthier environments for children to live, study, and play, and encourage social interaction in a peaceful atmosphere. And whereas all of Georgians benefit from urban and community forest, which contributes $4 billion annually to the Peach State's economy and provides employment for more than 46,000 people. And whereas Brian P. Kemp, governor of the state of Georgia, proclaimed an Arbor Day in Georgia and encouraged our citizens to plant trees, thus leaving a legacy for present and future generations. Now, therefore, I, he, Earl Gray, Mayor of the City of Fort Oglethorpe, do hereby proclaim an Arbor Day celebration to be held on November the 9th, 2019, in the City of Fort Oglethorpe at Honor Park, a tribute to those who serve. Over 200 people attended that day, and we are proud to say, as of now, we have planted over 21 trees at Honor Park, a tribute to those who serve, and have received thousands of dollars in grant money from the Georgia Urban Forestry Department. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Stinnett. Next item on the agenda is zoning matters. We have none. Next item on the agenda is ordinances. Item number 1 under ordinances is the second reading of ordinance number 2019-38. Mr. Stokes.
Ordinance number 2019-38, rezoning be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority thereof that the following property owned by Winners Development LLC and known as map 0013A02859 Keller Halls Lane, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia 30742 is hereby rezoned to a C2 special exception zoning. Said property is described as Exhibit A attached here too. Section 2, if any part of this ordinance shall be held to be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair other parts of this ordinance unless it clearly appears that such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part held to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 3, that this ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and council. This is second reading, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Item number 2 under ordinances, the second reading of ordinance number 2019-39. Mr. Stokes.
Ordinance 2019-39, rezoning be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority thereof. Section 1, that the following property owned by Ben Storage Ransom Incorporated and known as map 0013A024000133 Keller Halls Lane, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia 30742 is hereby rezoned to a C2 special exception zoning. Said property is particularly described in Exhibit A. Section 2, if any part of this ordinance shall be held to be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair other parts of this ordinance, unless it clearly appears that such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part held to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and council. Second reading, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Item number 3 under ordinances, the first reading of ordinance number 2020-01. Mr. Stokes.
Ordinance number 2020-01, rezoning, be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority thereof. Section 1, that the following property owned by Meadows Development LLC and known as map 0003C0311269 Battlefield Parkway, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, is hereby rezoned to a C2 special exception zoning. Following property is attached as Exhibit A. If any part of this ordinance shall be held to be invalid or unconstitutional, such other invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair other parts of this ordinance unless it clearly appears such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part held to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 3, this ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and council. First reading, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Item number 4 under ordinances is the first reading of ordinance number 2020-02. Mr. Stokes.
Ordinance 2020-02, rezoning be it ordained by the mayor and council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, and is hereby ordained by authority thereof that the following property owned by Jackie Lee Miller, trustee, and known as map 0003D0561599 Battlefield Parkway, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia 30742, is hereby rezoned to a C2 special exception zoning. Said property is particularly described in Exhibit A attached to this ordinance. Section 2, if any part of this ordinance shall be held to be invalid or unconstitutional, such invalidity or unconstitutionality shall not affect or impair other parts of this ordinance unless it clearly appears such other parts are wholly and necessarily dependent upon the part held to be invalid or unconstitutional. Section 3, that this ordinance shall take effect from and after its adoption by the mayor and council. First reading.
Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Next item on the agenda is resolutions. Resolution number 2020-01, supplemental bond resolution. Mr. Stoltz.
A resolution to correct two scrivener's errors in the supplemental resolution for the Series 2019 bonds and to ratify all actions taken consistent with correction. Whereas pursuant to the bond resolution adopted by the City Council of the City of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, dated September 9, 2019, as amended and restated by a bond resolution adopted by the City Council on the 28th day of October 2019, the City of Fort Oglethorpe authorized not to exceed $15.5 million aggregate principal amount of its water and sewer revenue refunding and improvement bond series 2019. And whereas the resolution was supplemented and amended pursuant to a supplemental bond resolution adopted by the City Council on December the 19th, 2019, to specify, among other things, the optional redemption provisions applicable to the Series 2019 bond and matters related to the redemption of the city's water and sewer revenue refunding supplemental bond Series 2014. And whereas the supplemental resolution contained two scrivener's errors, which the city desires to correct and to ratify and confirm all actions taken consistent with the correction. Now, therefore, the mayor and city council of the city of Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia, hereby resolve as follows. Section 1, corrections. Section 3 of the supplemental resolution, approval of optional redemption of Series 2019 bonds, is hereby corrected as follows. Deletion indicated by striking out, addition indicated underline. Series 2019 bonds maturing on or after October 1st, 2025 may be redeemed prior to the respective maturities at the option of the city on or after April 1st. Strike out, underline 2025 in whole or in part at any time in order to the of maturities selected by the cities less than all of the Series 2019 bonds of a single maturity to be selected by a lot in a manner as the city may determine from any monies available therefrom at the redemption price equal to the principal of the Series 2019 bonds to be redeemed plus accrued interest at the redemption date. The following portion of Section 4 of the supplemental resolution, application proceeds to the Series 2019 bonds, is hereby corrected as follows. Deletions and additions identical. Subparagraph A, the sum of $12,536,184.92 or such other amount as shall be necessary to deposit to the escrow account to refund the City of Fort Oglethorpe water and sewer revenue refunding the improvement bond Series 2014. Ratification. The city hereby ratifies and confirms all documents executed and actions taken by the city staff and consistent with the corrections in Section 1 of this resolution. Confirmation of the supplemental resolution. Except provided in this resolution, the supplemental resolution has not been repealed, revoked, rescinded, or amended and is in full force of effect as of the date hereof. The city hereby ratifies and confirms all provisions of the supplemental resolution as corrected hereby. Adopted this 13th day of June 2020.
You made it. You did make it, didn't you? Thank you, Mr. Stoltz. Next item on the agenda, unfinished business. We do not have anything. Next item on the agenda is reading of city clerk of any communications. We have none. Next item on the agenda is new business. Item number 1 under new business.
We got to vote on the resolution.
We didn't vote on it, did we?
No.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
A second.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Ms. Childs?
Yes.
Ms. Stinney?
Yes.
Ms. James?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimous. Now we're on to new business. Item number 1, appoint Mayor Pro Tem. I'll entertain a motion for a Mayor Pro Tem for 2020.
I enjoyed doing it last year. Didn't get to do it any because you was here. But, you know, that's all right. But anyway, I'm going to nominate Miss Rhonda James.
Second, sir.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Congratulations, Miss James.
Tough job.
Next item on the agenda, item number 2 under new business, reappointment of municipal court judge. I'll entertain a motion to reappoint Judge Winston Webb as municipal court judge.
Make a motion.
Second, sir.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 3 under new business, proposed approval for certificate of appropriateness for First Presbyterian Church, 1 Harker Road, Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. Mr. Quarles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The staff analysis for the roof replacement for the First Presbyterian Church, the 120-year-old roof has deteriorated and beyond repair. Architectural asphalt shingles are proposed to be used. These are high-quality shingles made from a fiberglass base with ceramic-coated materials and are in compliance with the preservation guidelines.
I have
Planning
a
Commission
motion.
voted in favor.
All right, sir.
Compliance.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I don't really understand.
Well, it has to be approved because it's in that historical
I
district.
got you. Okay.
Mr.
It's got to meet, we have these historic guidelines. It gives materials that they can use.
Because we don't have the Preservation Commission currently, all of it's coming to us for approval.
Right, I understand that part, and we need to make that commission happen soon.
That's right.
But these asphalt shingles are approved to take the place of a 120-year-old slate.
Yes, it's part of what's put in the preservation guidelines. Preserve the historic roofing material when necessary, replace with 3-tab or architectural composite shingles.
I think the key there is the architectural design. Is what
Yeah, that
they're wanting to
three-dimensional,
make
yeah.
sure they keep that 3-dimension
Yeah,
look to it.
it's kind of like the synthetic shake roof. Or slate. It looks like the material that's coming off, but it's synthetic instead of a real slate.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Warren.
Any other questions, discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 4, under new business, proposed approval for variance to property located at 3008 Battlefield Parkway. Mr. Quarles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The applicant is asking for a 13-foot proposed variance. The existing setback for the side yard is 20 feet. The applicant's intent, the tenant requires additional square footage to add a drive-through to that side of the building. The current setback on that side is 20, and they're asking for 13 feet. So they can build like a 400 square foot addition.
Thank you, Mr. Quarles. I have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Item number 5 under new business, proposed approval to purchase emergency lights for police vehicles. Mr. Sewell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. I appear before you tonight on behalf of the Police Department, request approval to purchase 2 emergency lighting packages for West Chatham Warning Devices for a total of $7,414.12. In December, the council approved the purchase of 2020 Ford Explorer vehicles that require emergency police lighting. The police department did solicit and received 3 separate quote responses from companies. Those companies were West Chatham Warning Devices, Dana Safety Supply Incorporated, and ProLogic ITS. Of those 3 companies, West Chatham was the most responsive and assured that the lighting packages would be installed in 3 working days.
Thank you, Mr. Sewell. I have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Item number 6, under new business, proposed approval for replacing tennis court lights. Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I come before you tonight to recommend approval to award a contract for replacing the tennis court lights at Gilbert Stevenson Park. This will replace the lights, fixtures, and electrical equipment in the amount of $13,982. The tennis court lights at the park, we have 16 total lights. We have 8 poles. Of these 16 lights, only 4 lights function. We have one whole court that has no functional lights. Most of this equipment is inoperable, outdated. Some have sustained water damage due to worn or rusted areas on the electrical panels. The 8 light poles are serviceable, and we will keep in place. The repair project will include all new electrical equipment from the ground up to the light poles, along with new lights and fixtures. The mercury vapor lights that are there now will be replaced with 300-watt LEDs, which will increase the lifespan, maintain or exceed output, and increase the efficiency. Several requests for proposals were initiated, and 3 responded. Crump Electric, Teams Electric, and Murdoch Electric. Of those responding, Crump Electric was the lowest bid. I have verified Crump Electric with our Building, Planning, and Zoning Director, Mr. Quarles. He communicated that Crump Electric has an outstanding reputation in our community based on inspections, performs meticulous, high-quality work, and always adheres to the NSC code. So I ask for your approval to award this contract to Crump Electric.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson. I have a motion to approve.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Are these lights similar to what was put at the ball fields that will have the timers and so that they can be controlled? I think, Craig, you can control them by your phone even when they're needed, not needed, to be energy efficient.
Yeah, they do have the timers, but it's more of a dust timer where they'll come on with a switch. So if we have patrons come up that want to play with that they can turn them on with a switch, but then they'll cut off based on the timer every night at, I believe, 11 or 12 o'clock every night. So they will not be able to be controlled. It's more of a manual control with, once the time has elapsed, then they'll cut off automatically.
So they won't bother the residents that live around that area?
No, ma'am. It's the same process that's been going on for several years. They'll cut off at 11 o'clock, I believe, possibly midnight.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Item number 7, under new business, proposed approval of amendment number 3, Battlefield Parkway Walking Trail Project. Mr. Long.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. This request is for the engineering services with CTI for amendment number 3 from the original agreement dated March 28th of 2016. And this will not exceed $10,000. This amendment, we're working on a GDOT grant on the walking trail. It's getting close to the final stages. Projected bid is now June of this year, believe it or not. We're getting there. But this amendment 3 will include the GDOT NEPA assessment reevaluation as required by GDOT, as well as additional plan revisions. Part of this was as the amendment of Amendment 2, the design along Frank Lane for pedestrian bridge that was outside the DOT range. We cut out the original one that was in the GDOT right-of-way due to the cost of design and all on it. It was going to cost several $100,000 to do that, so we pulled it out, and we're going to detour around out of the right-of-way, and it will include a portion of that. And the funding will be out of the 2019 Catoosa County spliced and for the Battlefield Trail project.
Thank you, Mr. Long. I have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Second, sir.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
For people interested, could you just explain where that goes?
Yes, it will start here at South Cedar Lane, go across the school properties and down to now to Frank Lane, and then cut up. We're working with the property owners there of getting it just off of the right of way. I think they're proposing, looking about filling that hole in that's on Frank Lane property there, and then it will tie into the walking trail that goes around Old Charlie's, around toward Panera Bread there along the creek and the canoe launches. It'll tie into it.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Been 4 years in the making. It's time to get it done.
It's been a while.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Item number 8, under new business, proposed approval for Highway 41 Sewer Project Phase 3 and 4. Mr. Parker.
Mr. Mayor, in October of last year, we opened bids on this project, which would provide sewer from Food City up to Cloud Springs Road and Cloud Springs Road to Interstate 75, Phase 3 and 4. We had 3 contractors bid: Tally Construction, Brown Brothers, and Tybee Company. And Tybee Company was the low bidder, and at the time, the low bid for this project was $3.8 million, a little over $3.8 million, which exceeded the available funds we have for this area. So myself, Mr. Helton, the engineers, we met with each other, and we met with the Tybee Company on different occasions over the last couple of months, and we've got this project down. We removed about $1.4 million from the project by negotiating with them on material. We reduced some of the line lengths and one thing or another. So requesting approval in the amount of $2,444,316 to award this contract to Tybee Company for Highway 41 Phase 3 and Phase 4 sewer project.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. I have a motion to approve.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Cutting the 1.4 million, Bill, did it cut off anything from that original projected project?
No, sir, we're
You still
still
got a
meeting our
pump station.
goal of providing sewer service along the Highway 41 corridor and the Cloud Springs Road corridor. We removed a couple of bores under state highways. There was a line segment that went up another piece of property, which we removed it altogether. We'll be in a position at some point in time, if the city chooses to expand off of Highway 41 into the other areas, you'll be able to. But for right now, it was just too much. It was just too much project for the monies we had. So we just cut it back to pretty much the basic sewer line along. And one of the expenses is the pump station that goes on down on Cloud Springs Road. That's an expensive operation anytime you do that. But we rerouted the force main from its original destination. So we just made some changes. I think it'll meet our goal of providing sewer service along that corridor.
Once approved, Mr. Parker, do we have a timeline for the accomplishment of this part?
I'm sorry?
Once this is approved, do we have a timeline for the accomplishment of this project?
We will. I would have to look at the contract to see. Probably, I'm guessing it's probably going to be about 180 days. It'll be about a 6-month project. Pump station, if they get the approval, it'll take 3 or 4 months just to get the pump station because they have to be manufactured after they're ordered. And so they'll start on the gravity side of that, probably Phase 3 down on Highway 41. That's all gravity. And then when the pump station gets in, they'll put it in. But, you know, I would guess probably about a 6-month project.
Thank you, sir.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Motion carries unanimous. Item number 9, under new business, proposed approval of audit engagement letter. Mr. Helton.
Mayor and council, yearly, the city, of course, has its financial practices reviewed by auditor, professional audit firm. That firm for a number of years has been Johnson Hickey Murchison. Staff does recommend that that firm be allowed to conduct our audit again of all the 2019 financial practices of the city. They did not increase the amount this year. It's the same as last year, and that is not to exceed an amount of $21,600. Those funds are budgeted for yearly in your budget.
Thank you, Mr. Helton. I have a motion to approve.
Make a motion. Second, sir.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Excuse me.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Next item on the agenda is City Manager's Report. Mr. Helton.
Yes, sir. Mayor and council, a number of citizens, approximately 1,800 households, were notified in late December with a notice in the mail. It may have looked like this. A good number of citizens saw it and have been calling in and asking for clarification. We wanted to make sure that those citizens knew that some dates had changed when it comes to their trash and brush, not necessarily their household garbage can trash, but the other items that you would pick up on the side of the road that you don't want any longer, the larger items. These changes have been placed on the website. The new calendar's been put in place. I think the council's been provided a copy in your boxes, but just so people are aware, the changes are there on your website if you want to look, just in case the past days that you may be used to some of these services have changed a bit. We wanted you to know that was a planned thing. The notices went out in December and they've begun taking effect already. Second item on the list is regarding a Clean Catoosa campaign. You'll recall last year in 2019, the city participated in the Clean Catoosa campaign with folks all over the county. Involving Fort Oglethorpe, we had 2 beautification projects. One was at Honor Park, the other was at Gilbert Stevenson. We had a stormwater catch basin project and 2 creek cleaning areas in Fort Oglethorpe. This year's Clean Catoosa event has been planned for Saturday, April 18th. There's many opportunities to volunteer for citizens that want to have a part in this. Planning began this weekend, so it's still a great time to jump in on the front end of this event. Tina Pinkston is our contact. She led that last year. Item number 3 is just a heads up that the city's beginning our required every 10-year joint comprehensive plan update. That's going to be a year-long project. We're looking for citizens that might want to serve and be a stakeholder on this committee to have input about what they'd like to see in their communities, what they'd like to see changed or added. So the staff is accepting stakeholders. They just need to be willing to serve about 4 working lunch meetings during the year sometime, those dates that will be announced. We need to obtain those stakeholders within a couple of weeks. And one other item is a reminder that city offices will be closed next Monday in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. That's all, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Helton. Next item on the agenda, City Council comments. Mr. Childs.
Wow, 2020 is already here. Hard to imagine, and Y2K was 20 years ago. But the only thing I got to say is one of my biggest charities is primary health care. We dance January the 25th. I had to change partners, so I'm dancing with my granddaughter, 14-year-old granddaughter. Please go on DancingStarsNorthGeorgia.com, and every dollar, every quarter, everything counts. And I don't know if y'all know what primary health care, but they do a lot for Walker, Dade, Catoosa County, especially people who don't have insurance. So you'll see some good dancing that night too if you want to come, so you can buy tickets. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Childs. Mr. Crawford.
Yeah, I hope everybody's had a great and safe start to the new year. Avoided some of the flu. I know it's hit some of my household, but everything's had a good start. I'd also like to again, congratulate the mayor and Miss James and Mr. Rogers and on your re-election, and looking forward to working with all of you guys, and hopefully it's going to be a great year. And I'd just like to end by wishing Mr. Wayne Honeycutt a happy 90th birthday. He celebrated that this weekend, and I know the Honeycutt family, they've been good to this community, and wish him the best on that milestone. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you to all of the citizens. We're excited about the new year, and we're excited about the new term as well. So, looking forward to it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Ms. James?
Well, I'll say Happy New Year also, and just to let Mr. Helton tell the employees how much we appreciate all they do. They do a lot of work, and this is going to be an exciting year and a lot to do, and we appreciate them.
Thank you, Ms. James. Ms. Stinnett?
Yes, sir. Take a moment to brag on the Fort Oglethorpe Veteran and Citizen Council and Honor Park. Honor Park has received yet another award from the Georgia Arborist Association. This is the Community Impact Award, established to recognize communities, organizations, individuals, or institutions that have made significant contributions to enhance tree protection, conservation, energy conservation, wildlife habitat, public health, or other environmental, cultural, social, or economic benefits through outstanding tree planting and or tree care. And this was awarded to Honor Park. I'd like to invite everyone to go to the City of Fort Oglethorpe website, Parks and Recreation tab, and look at Honor Park and all the things that they have to offer on that site, including the sale of our pavers. Honor Park, a tribute to those who serves, honors all military veterans, police, fire, emergency first responders, and all those who serve, including elected officials. So I'd like to invite all of our elected officials to establish their paver at Honor Park as well. This year, whenever you're ready to look at donations and someone to help in Fort Oglethorpe, the 1919 Club for the 6th Cavalry Museum. Check them out on their website. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stinnett. Next item on the agenda is citizens' petitions and requests. We have none. Next item on the agenda is executive session. We do not have anything for executive session tonight. Last item on the agenda is adjournment. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second, sir.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.